Good morning, good morning. Don't know if anyone's here yet. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I had a little accident with the coffee this morning. Give it a couple minutes though to see if anyone else is gonna pop in. Hey, morning, Hunter. All right, definitely got one. I gotta imagine Rachel and Liberty will hop in. Hope everything's good, Hunter. How was your weekend? Pretty good. What about yours? Mine was good, Hunter. It's it's kind of weird. It's a weird situation, so I'm not, I'm trying to quarantine myself. Good morning, Rachel. How was your weekend? I'm trying to quarantine myself and be responsible and everything, but it's pretty hard to do. It's really boring. So I've been doing a lot of video games and Netflix, and I finally went grocery shopping yesterday because I ran out of food, so I got that done. But yeah, I'm losing my mind a little bit, but powering through. My weekend was good, but I'm bored already. Yeah, Rachel, I feel that. This is tough. This is really tough. I mean, it's especially because especially if you don't know if you don't have very much hobbies at home. Like if you're someone who just likes to go out, like have friends, be outside all the time, whatever it may be, it's even harder. And or if you're at least with people, if you're with family or whatever. So when you're quarantined by yourself, it kind of gets tough. Go a little insane. Like I found myself just going outside really for no reason, which I usually don't do. I usually need to be motivated. I have some purpose, but yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. We got through one week, right? If we can get through one week, we can get through them all. Oh man. All right, if I had to guess, I'm guessing Liberty's my last viewer. Hunter, you got to convince Cole to join again. I think I've seen him once. I think he's been to one of them. That's okay, though. All right. So I think we should be good. I just wanted, before I start, I want to make sure Liberty was here. So Liberty, if you can hear me and you're attending this right now, please feel free to comment in the chat just so I know, so I can start talking. So I got something kind of important to talk about. My camera's low. Hunter, we stayed up until 4 a.m. again, so he said he probably went like, Hunter, you guys gotta get on a better sleeping schedule. I'm assuming video games was the culprit. Been there, done that. Understood. Okay, well, I'm going to get started. It says I have 3 viewers, so I'm assuming someone else is here. So good morning, obviously, beginning of the second week. First thing I wanted to talk about was thank you for responding to my poll. I don't know if you guys did, but if any of you did, I really appreciate it. It was good to get some feedback. Allows me to kind of improve on what I'm doing, because obviously this is my first time doing any of this, so I need the feedback, and obviously you can always give it to me as we go on. So anything you got, please throw my way. So I appreciate that. I got some really constructive responses, which I'm very happy about. That's kind of the first thing I wanted to address. Second thing, in general, just a great first week for you guys. So I appreciate you guys putting in the work. You guys are all still giving me that effort, and it's really appreciated. I know it's hard. You guys got a lot on your minds, being seniors and everything, and you gotta, have to worry about all that other stuff with graduating and all, little stuff like that. And just senior in general, you already have a lack of motivation in general. So asking you to do this on your own is also, it says a lot about you people, so you should be proud of that. So I appreciate that, keeping the effort up. Now, really important topic now is AP test. So I wasn't sure, and I told you guys last week, I wasn't really sure what the deal was. As far as I was concerned, it was going to stay on schedule. So everything you're going to do the same time, same expectations, all that. Now, with you guys, this is pretty interesting. So AP/BCA, as you guys know, the intention is that you learn all the material for the first time. So you're supposed to start with the beginning of calculus for the first time. So you're supposed to learn derivatives this year, you're supposed to learn integrals this year, and then get into the Calc BC stuff. Well, that's the intention. So the difference is what AP is doing now is starting to cut some things off, meaning that they're not going to be testing you on the entire topics, which is good and bad, and you'll see in a second. So let me just show you the post they have. Let me switch my screen over. All right, so let me show you this post. So this was on March 20th when I got this. I was going to send an email out, but I figured it'd just be easier to talk about in stream. I'm just making sure that you guys can see this. Okay, yeah, you can. All right, so AP updates for schools impacted by coronavirus. I'm just going to kind of go through this, and you guys can follow along as I read. Obviously, you can see on your screen. So as schools and communities navigate the unprecedented challenges posed by coronavirus, AP is making it a top priority. So here's what they're doing. So they're providing the free remote learning resources. All of that stuff you guys have been using all year. So when they say this free remote learning resources, that's just referring to all the stuff we've been doing. The progress checks, just the basic make your own assignments kind of situation. They have practice tests, which we'll get to when we're done with the units, and so on. So they're providing these free remote learning resources we've already been using, so which is really good because we're comfortable with it. And then this is the big thing here is we're investing in the development of a new at-home testing option. So this is going to be the intended purpose now, because the assumption, I think, is that you won't be coming back in May. I don't even know if that's necessarily the assumption. I think it's just for the precautions, to take the precautionary measures, the assumption will be that. You got to assume for the worst, you can prepare in case it happens. So if that does happen, they're going to be doing an at-home testing. Okay, now, weird, right? You can take an AP test in your pajamas. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. So here's some of the things they're talking about. So traditional face-to-face exam administrations will not take place. Students will take a 45-minute online free response exam at home. Some students may want to take the exam sooner rather than later, while the content is still fresh. Other students may want more time to practice for each AP subject. There will be 2 different testing dates. So they're going to make 2 dates to go online and to test. That's going to be a little bit different. How they're going to do this is I'm assuming, I don't know. I think it's a lockdown browser would be the intention. So you guys will have to figure that out once I get more information on it. But yeah, so that's the intention. The full exam schedule specific for response questions that will be in each AP exam and additional testing details will be available by April 3rd. So we got about a week, a little over a week, guys, to get some more information. So once I do get that information by then, we'll do the exact same thing. I'll talk about it in the stream, and you guys can ask any questions. So this is a really nice thing about this is obviously there's a bunch of people. So they said they surveyed 18,000 AP students. 91% said they still wanted to be able to take the test. All right, so I guess maybe they were talking about maybe not even making you take it. Well, I think that's stupid. You're putting the effort into this course, you might as well take it. Regardless of how you feel like you're going to do, you might as well take it. So it says any student already registered for an exam can choose to cancel at no charge. That's not an option for you guys. You guys are taking it. So regardless of whether you want to or not, you're taking the exam. So that's part of when, at our school, it's part of the stipulation, I guess, for signing up. If you sign up, the expectation, you take the exam. So the AP program will invest heavily over the next month in the following ways. So it says AP curricula are locally developed, and we defer to local decisions on how to best help students complete coursework. To be fair to all students, some of whom have lost more instructional time than others, like us, the exam will only include topics and skills most AP teacher students have already covered in the class by early March. All right, so this is kind of the funny thing here. This idea. So they're including topics and skills most AP teachers and students have already covered in class by early March, which means, again, the intention is you take the entire year up until the AP test to teach everything in BC. That's unit 1 through 11, or 10. I think there's, I don't remember how many, maybe 10. I think there's 10. So 1 through 10. Obviously, we started back to front because you guys have already taken the AB. So we started with 9, 10, and then other various topics here and there. And then now we're going back through 1 through 8. So I'll show you guys what the expectation for you will be in a second. It says colleges support the solution and are committed to ensuring the AP students receive the credit they've worked to earn this year. So you guys, colleges are on board with this. That's why they're doing it. Colleges are supporting it, so your grades are still going to be like as if it was a normal test in person. Nothing changes to that. For decades, colleges have accepted a shortened AP exam for college credit when groups of students have experienced emergencies. So that's going to be the key right there. Students will be able to take these streamlined exams on any device they have access to. And I don't think we have to worry about this handwritten photo of a handwritten work at all. I think you guys obviously all have your computers. You should be fine. And then we're going to the last point. So the exam questions are designed and administered in ways that prevent cheating. We use a range of digital security tools and techniques, including plagiarism detection software, to protect the integrity of the exams. So again, I don't really know. What I'm imagining is this: I'm imagining they're going to give someone a lockdown browser, most likely, meaning that you can't go to another source on your computer. And what I've seen in the past, and what I've had to do, is they have programs where it'll detect where your eyes are moving, first of all, or they might just have people just watching you take the test. So if you're taking the test and they see you like clicking and glancing over to something else, the test will be null and void. So I'm not positive how that's going to work yet. Like I said, April 3rd, I think I'm going to get more information. Okay, so this is important. This is the course specific. So we want to go to BC. All right, so the first column is exam questions we'll only cover. And then the exam questions in the second column is what won't be covered. So we will be covering, guys, for your exam, units 1 through 8, which is all of AB. So you'll be expected to know all of AB. Well, you already took that test. You already learned it. We're going back through it now. So that's the first expectation. And then there's going to be 5 topics in Unit 10. Okay, if you guys remember, Unit 10 was series. So if you're doing the math here, Unit 9 is being excluded. And then some topics from Unit 10. So once we get closer to the time of taking the actual exam, I'll go over these specific Unit 10 ones. So we focus heavily on 10.2, 10.5, 10.7, 8, and 11. So I'll go back through that. But Unit 9, guys, was with polar coordinates, parametric equations, all that good stuff. So that will not be any expectation for you. So maybe that'll be a little bit of less stress on your shoulders. That entire unit, all that time he spent, as fun as it was, will not be, unfortunately, on the AP exam. So just so you guys know, that's the plan. 1 through 8, and then 5 topics from series. Okay, they don't have the exam dates yet or the exam question types included in here. So April 3rd, we'll get some more information on that. Okay, and they put these little asterisks here, and I'm not really sure. Maybe if I scroll down, it'll tell me what those are. Okay. Okay, so this is also important. Guys, you will not have a subscore this year. So when I say subscore, the intention is this. So what you do is for the BC classes, you take an A-B test. So you take one test, okay? And it's a BC test, but there's an A-B portion. So basically what happens is you get your overall BC score. You might get a 3 on the test, whatever. You also have an A-B subscore, meaning all the questions strictly from A-B. Because again, the intention is you take A-B or BC, not both. So you take your BC test, you get whatever, get a certain score on it. Your subscore is called the A-B subscore. Now, that's good for people who, let's say you took BC and you failed A-B. Well, that'd be good for you because you can then pass A-B if you do good enough. For you guys, though, you all did well enough on A-B. I think I'm pretty positive you all did well enough. So that subscore wouldn't really matter to you anyways. Okay, you're more concerned about what the BC score is overall. But in case anyone's concerned, because you might be able to boost your A-B score theoretically with that subscore, you won't be able to do that because they won't provide you one. All right, so that's something a little bit different. Okay, next thing, instructional support. So down here, beginning by Wednesday, March 25th, students and teachers can attend free live AP review courses delivered by AP teachers from across the country. All right, now this is just a YouTube page. Okay, that's all it is. Now, it's not something that I'm going to just assign you guys, obviously, and then just not teach you and just say, hey, have a good rest of your year. This is just another resource only if you want it. So if you feel like you don't need it, fine. If you feel like there's one topic where Mr. Harris didn't do a good enough job of explaining it to you, or maybe you just really want a quick refresher, but you don't want to, you don't have time or want to spend time asking me to give you a quick refresher, or whatever it may be, or just want to see a different way to think about something. All right, perfectly fine. That's going to be on this AP review course web or YouTube page. Okay. So if you guys go to YouTube, and I think if you just Google AP, you'll be able to find it. Let me see if I can click on this. Maybe this will have it. Oh yeah, so if you look right here, I'll zoom in a little bit. YouTube.com/advanced placement. You guys can find videos of AP questions. So I haven't looked too much into it because it's fairly new. Because I think it came out or I don't even know if it has come out yet, or videos have come out. I'm assuming they'll split it up into different AP courses. So you'll probably have a BC course, an AB course, and so on. And then you can just go in there and find the specific topic or whatever you want. Okay, I think, I think that's all I want to go over with that. Okay, so I know that was a lot of new details, interesting details. If you guys have any comments, I haven't looked at the chat at all, as you can see. So now's the time, kind of take in what I just talked about. If you guys have any questions in the chat or any comments, please put them in there now. So there is no multiple choice at all. So no, I don't think that's true, Hunter. I believe there's multiple choice, but I agree after looking at it, it does sound like it's going to be, they make it sound like there's 45 questions. Now, if you'll notice, I think I'm still on the right screen. Yeah, I am. So if you'll notice right here, BC. So these other columns are exam question types. So this column is exam question types. If I scroll down, it's going to be filled in later. So I guess they don't really know the answer to that yet. I'm assuming, my assumption is that it'll be, actually I don't even know. It's definitely not just going to be free response questions. I think that wording was intended for a lot of the a lot of the topics because a lot of AP tests are just like free response. So I know it doesn't really answer your question, but I guess my answer is I don't know, but they're going to come out with it by April 3rd. All right, anything else you guys got? How do you guys feel about an entire unit getting cut off? Fine by me. That's kind of what I figured. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. I'm assuming the nice thing is this. I think the advantage we have, you four have over a lot of other people is the fact that we've been using AP all year long. So you guys have seen the formats, you've seen how things are worded. You've had like a lot of exposure to how AP designs their online curriculum, I guess, which I hope to be beneficial for you, just because like it's not going to be anything like you're not used to seeing when you actually go and take it. Because my assumption is going to be very, very similar to how the AP College Board stuff set up that we already do. So I'm assuming you'll just see like you'll click on something that says multiple choice. You go into this lockdown browser. You'll take your 45 multiple choice questions or however many there is. Just like you would like if I gave you a progress check. You would take those. You don't need work. They're not checking your work. It's just multiple choice anyways. So I'm sure they would just have you in the lockdown browser or someone watching you, whatever it may be. And then you'll submit that, and then I'm assuming it'll take you right to a free response portion. Now, how that's going to be graded, no clue. So I have no clue. That's something that's like I guess the big question. So we'll find that that'll be something we'll find out by April 3rd, hopefully. But yeah, okay. So let's get started with what we're gonna do today. All right. So you guys can see your calendar here. So first thing I wanted to do was to review the Unit 6 Progress Check Multiple Choice Question Part C. So go ahead in the chat and type any questions you had with that. Get that out. I don't remember if we went over it, if you guys finished it in time or what the deal was, but any questions you have on that, go ahead and get that open now, and then we will talk about it. Or if you want me just to go over the answers. Part C was a lot of, oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot, that was the one we already did. So we already have one over that. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Okay, so never mind, I guess we don't need to go over that. I can get rid of that because you guys already did it. So that was a lot of integration by parts, and partial fraction decomposition. So you guys, that was stuff we did like the very beginning of the year. So we don't have to worry about that. That means you guys are good to start on the free response question part A. So College Board Unit 6. I already posted it. I also posted both the Khan Academies for the next 2 days. I figured I'd do it now. If you guys want to get them both knocked out, go ahead and get them knocked out. That doesn't bother me at all. All right, so let's get started on that FRQ Part A. I'll be here with any questions you guys got. Just so you guys know, I mentioned this when I read it, but I didn't really harp on it too much. You guys, I think it sounds like you might have the potential to take the test early. This is going to be something like, again, by April 3rd, we'll have more details, but this will be something you guys can kind of think about. I'm not going to say no to it. Like, I don't have any issue with it. I just got to make sure that you feel very confident and comfortable with taking it. I don't want it to be like one of those things where you just want to do it just to get it out of the way. I'd really like to see, make sure that we feel good about it, but it makes sense to, if you want to take it early, I don't see why I would prevent you from that. So something to think about, just like where you're at. And if you're really bent on taking it early, I would start doing some extra review now. That way, if you do the extra review now, whenever the date is announced where you can take it early, you guys will be even more prepared for that. So just keep that in mind. I don't know how early that will be, but next thing I want to talk about, hopefully you guys didn't mute me or you can hear me. So when I'm done with this, just comment or something that you're hearing me. This assignment I forgot, since this is an FRQ, you guys won't be able to actually submit anything to me. So I won't be able to see, obviously, your work or anything, your answers. So to account for that, I'm going to actually post an assignment in the Google Classroom. So I'll post an assignment in Google Classroom, and you guys will be able to just upload a picture of your work to Google Classroom. So I'm going to do that now. That way you guys can put some work there. Thank you, Hunter. Are we still going to be able to go over answers with you before we submit? Yeah, Rachel, absolutely. So this is going to be something like, I'll assign it like I always do, like due tomorrow. And then the first thing tomorrow, first thing at the beginning of class, we can go over it. It's not going to be, I mean, we always go over and you guys get the answers anyways. So unless it's like you guys give me complete garbage on a paper, obviously, then I'm not accepting it. But you know how I usually grade. I'm pretty lenient about that. I just want to make sure you're putting effort, and if I see stuff, then I can correct it. But yeah, we'll go over all the answers. Okay, I think it should be up there. So if you guys go, you have to do it right this second, but if you go to your Google page, it should be up there. Hunter said, "Can you go over B?" Sure thing, Hunter. Okay, so I'm assuming this is question 1, part B. All right, so it says use trapezoidal sum with 4 subintervals indicated by the data in the table to approximate the integral from 0 to 2 of RT indicate units of measure. Okay, so what we want to figure out then, let me make sure that my camera's okay. All right, so this is going to be 1B. All right, so trapezoidal sum. So what we do when we find a trapezoid, an area of a trapezoid, it's going to be base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. So B1 plus B2 divided by 2 times h, times our height. All right, so what we want to figure out is if we know one of these pieces of information. Well, the height's always the width. If we're dividing the trapezoid into 4 subintervals from 0 to 2, well, 2 divided by 4 is going to be 1/2. Okay, so dividing that into 4 subintervals, each increment, if they're equal subintervals, then it's got to be 1/2 in each increment. All right, so my h is going to be equal to 1/2. And that's always going to be the case because the width, I mean, if you look at the graph, if I were to graph this, you would see that it looks like a width is going to be 1/2, but if you that trapezoid is flipped on its side. So that width is actually the height. So we say h is 1/2. If that is really confusing, I can draw a picture for you, Hunter. Just let me know. But we know that for sure. Then we just have to make the 4 different trapezoids. All right. So the first trapezoid you're going to find by taking f of 0 plus f of 1/2 divided by 2 times 1/2. Okay, so that's my base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times 1/2. And then we just keep doing that process. So then 1/2 times f of 1/2 plus f of 1 divided by 2 plus 1/2 f of 1 plus f of 3/2 all over 2, and then plus 1/2 times f of 3/2 plus f of 2 divided by 2. All right, and then all those values, all those f ofs, those all have values in the table. So you're just plugging in those values from the table. Mixed up x and y in the table. Yeah, no problem, Hunter. All right, hopefully that helps out. Could you explain B on question 2? No problem. So 2b. Okay, so 2b is kind of a pain. Not too bad, but a little bit of a pain. So the question says, given that f of 6 equals 7, write an expression for f of x that involves an integral. Use this expression to find the absolute minimum value of f and the absolute maximum value of f on the closed interval. So the first part, I guess the difficult part, is to write the expression for f of x that involves an integral. So what we want to think about is this. Well, I know the fundamental theorem of calculus, and the fundamental theorem of calculus is stating that, well, from some value, in this case we're going to use 6 because it's given to us. So we're given what f of 6 is. So that's going to be our starting point. And we want to write an expression for f of x that involves an integral. All right, so given the integral from 6 to x, we don't know where it's stopping. Somewhere in between 6 and 9 because that's the interval they give us, but we're just going to call it x. F prime of t dt is going to be equal to f of x minus f of 6. All right, now that's just the fundamental theorem of calculus, part 2. So basically just copy that definition down, but just applying it to the problem that we're presented. Allows us to make an integral. Now the question says, though, to write an expression for f of x that involves an integral. So what we want to do is then we'd want to add f of 6 to the left side, right? So we add that. So now we actually have this integral that represents f of x. So f of x is equal to the integral from 6 to x, f prime of t, plus f of 6. Okay, so now we're in pretty good shape with that. I'm just going to stop there real quick, Rachel. Let me know if that's okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'll give you some more direction since I'm already started on it. So now that we've got that set up, there's a part that we know, and that part is f of 6. So we're given what f of 6 is. Okay, that gives it to us in the question. The question says f of 6 equals 7. So really we have, make sure you can read this. Yeah. So really we have the integral from 6 to x of f prime of t dt plus 7 equals f of x. That's where we're really left with now. All right, now what we're looking for is when is f prime of x equal to 0? So again, this is given to us, okay? Well, not given to us. This is what we found. We found an expression for f of x. Well, the question wants us to use that expression to find the absolute minimum of f and the absolute maximum of f. So if we want to find an absolute minimum and maximum, you should automatically be thinking candidates test. Absolute minimums and maximums are candidates test. So when you think candidates test, well, in order to do candidates test, we need to set the derivative equal to 0. So we're looking for the absolute minimum and maximum of f. So we need to set the derivative of f equal to 0. Well, if you guys look, they give us a graph of f prime, which is really nice. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything with this left side of the equation. No crazy manipulation. We're looking for f prime of x equal to 0. Look at the graph. So you go up to the graph. You can see at 3, 6, and 8. Those are going to be the 3 values in that interval where we have a critical point. We're ignoring 9 because we have to evaluate 9 anyways at some point, and that's not our absolute. Well, it could potentially be, but that's our endpoint. So we're going to have to test for it anyways, so we don't really need to include it. Liberty, I'm here. Apparently, it wasn't letting me comment because I got signed on. Oh, okay. No problem, Liberty. I figured you were here. I saw someone else was here. As long as you've been listening and heard all the stuff I've said, then no problems. If you have any questions, Liberty, on all the lecture at the beginning of class, let me know. Okay, now from here, now this part, what we want to actually do is find our absolute max. All right, so we got our critical points. Obviously, we have our endpoints. So now let's actually get a critical, or to get our maximum point, we have to actually evaluate them. So we want to find then, let me see if you guys can read. Yep, okay, so we want to find f of 0, f of 3, f of 6, f of 8, and f of 9. Those are the how many? 5? The 5 different values we want to evaluate for the critical test, or the candidates test. So we have to check the endpoints, we have to check the critical points, find out which ones are absolute minimum and absolute maximum. All right, to do that, well, we know our evaluation or our function for f of x. We found that in terms of an integral. So f of x is equal to 7 plus the integral from 6 to x of f prime of t dt. So now all we're doing is using that expression we found earlier and replacing x's with all these values. So f of 0 should be the integral from 6 to 0 of f prime of t dt plus 7. F of 3 would be 3 to 0, f prime of t dt plus 7. 6 would be from 6 to 6. I'm sorry, this should be from 6 to 3. From 6 to 3. F prime of t dt plus 7. From 6 to 6, f prime t dt plus 7. From 6 to 8. And then from 6 to 9. Okay. So that's just me replacing the earlier equation, replacing all the x's with 0, 3, 6, 8, and 9. All right. Now, finding these, some of them are pretty easy. Okay, for example, f of 6, the integral from 6 to 6. Well, there is no area underneath that integral because there's no space. It's just a point. There's no area underneath a point. So that's 0. 0 plus 7 gives me 7. All right, so that one's not too bad. The first one, if you guys notice, the bound is the lower bound should be 0, not 6. So to account for that, we put a negative out front, and we flip the bounds. So we get negative integral from 0 to 6 f prime of t dt plus 7. This is given to us. If you guys look at your actual problem, that's given to us. All right, so all we have to do is we have to find the area under the curve from 0 to 6. Well, the area under the curve is going to be 12 minus 10 plus 5. So that's 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Negative 7 plus positive 7 gives me 0. Okay, and I think the rest of it, you can go through that process. So I'll leave the rest of it for you guys. Oh, I actually apologize for this. Sorry. That should be from 0. Yeah. I thought it was just 12. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, actually. It says 12 minus 2. So it would be 12 minus 10 gives me 2. So 2, negative 1 times 2 would be negative 2 plus 7. Actually gives me 5. I apologize. Yeah, it should be 5. I don't know why I added the last area. So f of 3, we'll have to do the same thing. You have to switch the bounds. F of 8 and f of 9, you guys can just evaluate straight up. So Liberty, I'm sure you heard, but you guys, just a reminder, when you're done with this, just post your work to Google Classroom. If you want to check your work, I'll have my office hour from 1 to 2 today. I will also be on tomorrow, obviously, so we can, at the beginning of class, we can check our work then as well. Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks, Mr. Harris. Yeah, absolutely, Rachel. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping in. All right, Liberty and Hunter. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day as well. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know if you have any questions. And hello, calculus students who are popping in. How is everyone? I hurt my shoulder. Oh. Morning. Thank you, Hunter. You too. How's everyone's weekend? Everyone have a good weekend? Good. I'm assuming that's what Jaden's saying. Jaden, I think sometimes you struggle typing. You might need to take a class. You too, Liberty. Thank you. Hey, Jonah. Always with that just nice, hey, 1Y. Very plain, straight to the point. Hi, Jasmine. How was your guys' weekends? Was it good? Self-quarantining? Were you guys quarantined? Was it nice? Jaden says yes. All right, Jaden. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Stacklin. Nice. All right, we got a lot of people today. Welcome. I'll give it a little bit of time and maybe more people will pop in. Boring. Yeah, you know what, guys? I'm with you on that 100%. I found myself like thinking of anything I could do. I went grocery shopping yesterday, and it was like the highlight of my week. I was so excited. I was like, this is great. I don't know why. It just was something to do. Because I was driving. I found myself just going outside for no reason. I was outside in the rain one day, just chilling in the rain. No reason. Just thought, I got to be outside some way, so I'll sit in the rain. I might be going insane. So that's what you guys have teaching you math. Cheers. I've played a lot of video games and watched a lot of Netflix, though, in my free time when I'm not preparing for you guys. So I got that going for me. Brandon, I haven't left my house. That's good, Brandon. I know it stinks, but you're doing the responsible thing. So I commend you for that. It's not easy, but especially because, I don't have, family right now to, hang out with, which kind of stinks. And I texted my parents, like, hey, can I come over at some point? And they're like, I don't know, we're supposed to quarantine. And so, yeah, I don't know if they're going to let me over their house. We'll see. Brandon, I'm sure you were playing some sort of video game, Modern Warfare, I'm guessing. I was thinking about this, how people are going to come out of the quarantine. There's how many options we have. I feel like some people are going to get really jacked. So they're going to do a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, all that good stuff, because that's all they have to do and just get ripped. Other people might just eat the whole time. So I don't really know how they're gonna turn out. Other people might be really good at some random skill. Maybe everyone gets really into knitting and that just becomes something people are really good at. Or, hear me out, people start reading books. Oh, could you imagine? Couldn't be me. But I'm sure some people are taking this time to read books. We got some very important stuff to talk about today, guys, so buckle up. Not me, I've been eating, I've gained 10, geez, Brent. Well, in your defense, though, you're a little different, because for wrestling, you're already probably low on weight, so, yeah, that's normal for you, yeah, exactly. I got to imagine, wrestling, that's kind of the natural transition. It's just, eat whatever you want, because you earned it, and then, yeah, kind of gain back to your normal weight, I guess. AP test, yes, Stacklin. Big AP test announcement for you guys. So buckle up. Make sure you can hear me fine. Take notes if you need to, if you wish to. Ow, my shoulder hurts. $14 people? Hey guys, by the way, yep, I have almost drank a whole gallon of Flat Flush. I bet, Brandon. Probably feels good to get that sugar in you. There's no likes on today's stream, so if you guys want to smash that real quick, it takes 2 seconds. I'm not asking that much out of you. Just a real quick, bam, done. Because 0 likes, it makes me feel bad about myself a little bit. So you don't want that. Can't really teach when I'm feeling bad about myself. Sucking up for it. Gotta love it. That's the best strategy, really. Because I know you guys like it. You want to just hold off and make me sweat a little bit. I get it. Okay, 10:05. Now's the time. Let's get started. Yeah, Stack, are you the one who always dislikes it? There's always one person disliking my videos. I think it's Stackland. It's a shame. Really is. Really is. But you know what? I can fight through it. I'll eventually get your like, Stackland. Eventually. I'll earn it. Maybe it'll be today. Never know. Okay. So, first things first. That survey I had you guys fill out. Much appreciated the feedback I got. So I really, really, truly appreciate it. Obviously, I've never done this before. It's my first time doing this. First time you guys have done this. So I think that feedback was really important for me to kind of take into the next step what I need to consider. Overall, I've got really positive feedback, which made me happy. It sounds like you guys are very appreciative of this setup and how we're continuing kind of with I don't know what the word I'm looking for, normalcy is of our class anyways. It seems like you appreciate that, so that makes me happy. That's the goal. So I'm glad that you're liking it. I also got some really good feedback on maybe suggestions. So there's certain stuff, and I'm looking into some stuff. So first of all, one comment I got a lot of was my wall in the back. I haven't been using my whiteboard very often. I play Hangman with Algebra 2 to start class, and that's been used for that. But I feel like the notebook's been the best strategy for actually like teaching, and I think you guys would agree with that. So people are saying, hey, put something up in your back behind you, which is a good idea. So I got to look into that. If you guys have any ideas of like posters you'd want me to like get or something, I have nothing better to do, so I can like go online shopping. If you have any ideas of what I could put up there, I'd love that. That was one big feedback I got. The other big feedback, I actually have it written down. Hold on. Oh yeah, timestamps. So I mentioned this like right when I started streaming. I knew this was going to be kind of an issue. The way everything's working with the videos. The cat that says hang in there, that's a great idea, Fade. I should definitely get that. That'd be funny. So with the YouTube videos, and I knew this coming in, my plan and what I've been sticking with has been just one consecutive stream. So an hour each. People are asking for timestamps, and they're saying, hey, can you do timestamps so I know exactly where to go so I don't have to fast forward? Now, I get that. And like I understand how that'd be very beneficial. The issue is two things. Okay, first of all, my entire stream doesn't upload right away. So it only uploads 2 hours right away. The other hours is not uploaded. So for me to even like make those timestamps, if I were to be specific about them, I would have to wait like a X amount of time and have to keep checking over and over to see when my YouTube video posts. So then I can go in the description and then comment and like go through it all. So it would require me to have to go watch the entire video through, which 3 hours is, I could fast forward through it too because I have an idea of what I did that day. But it is asking me to do an extra, a lot of extra work just so I can maybe just say like, hey, work started at 2:54 in the video. I don't think it's that difficult. I know I'm asking a lot. I don't think it's that difficult for you guys to go in and just fast forward and try to like, get an idea of where I'm at. Now, it kind of makes sense. Like I start my class off, like I greet you guys. We have a nice conversation. And then eventually I say, okay, let's get started. So I think my verbal cues can kind of get you there. I know it'll take a little extra minute, but it's going to save me a ton of time if I don't have to go through like every single video every day and like comb over all the details and like timestamp everything. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm coming from that. If anyone can think of like a better solution than that, by all means, I'm more than happy to listen. Right now, I feel like for all of us to save me time, as well as I don't think it's going to be too much of a burden on you, I'm going to keep it how it is. I did organize though. Someone did comment and said, hey, why don't you separate them into at least like playlists. So like I can get like this week, and that's a really good idea. So actually on my YouTube page, I did separate all of last week into one like playlist. So it just says the week of whatever, I can't remember what the first day was, 3/17 maybe. So it says week of 3/17, and it has all the videos from that week. And so I'll do the same thing for this week. I'll upload them all, and then I'll put them all in a playlist so you guys can go back and look at that. All right, so that was a really good advice. I like that a lot. Other stuff is like with delay. I had a couple comments about my delay in my stream. I don't really know if there's much I can do about it. It does stink because I have to wait an extended amount of time for you guys to comment. People were saying maybe put it in the chat, like, hey, any questions, comment. That's a good idea. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge delay. It's not like a 40-second delay. I think it's like 10, 15 seconds if I had to guess. Maybe even less. I don't really know. So I don't know if that's a huge issue. I'm going to still work on maybe. There's one more option where I can change my latency, stream latency it's called, meaning that I can make it even more like up to date, but I lose the quality a little bit. So maybe one day I'll mess around with that. But yeah, thank you again, guys. And obviously, as we go on, any advice, any comments, concerns, please email me, put it in the chat, whatever of stuff you want. So I'm just going to keep making lists and keep trying to improve this to best suit you guys. Okay? So that's agenda number 1. Agenda number 2, like Stackland said, is AP tests. So this is really super important. So I'm going to switch screens here. All right? Super, super important. I'm going to read AP's announcements on this situation. So let me actually make sure real quick you guys can see my screen. Yep, okay. So AP came out. This was on the 20th. I was going to email you guys. I figured, you know what, I'll talk about it Monday because I want to see if maybe they'd post any updates as well. So you guys can see on my screen, it says AP updates for schools impacted by coronavirus, which we most certainly are. All right, so I'm just going to go through this form, follow along. Any questions you guys have, take notes. I won't be seeing my chat, so I won't be able to answer them right away, but just keep them in mind. So as schools and communities navigate the unprecedented challenge posted by coronavirus, the health and safety educators and students are their top priority, and here's how they're supporting schools. So first of all, the free remote learning resources. We've been doing that all year. That's all the stuff we've used. So all the AP classroom assignments I've given you, progress checks, custom assignments, all that stuff that's already been used. No need to go over that. They're also investing in the development of a new at-home testing option. That is going to be our option, it seems like, because I think their plan is to plan for the worst. They have to prepare for the worst. So the assumption is we won't even be back in school to take the AP test in person. All right? Which means that at-home testing option will be the only option. So I'm assuming, and I'm going to take that exact same approach, and the assumption is going to be that's what we're going to have to do. Because if we get to take it in person, nothing's different. It's the same old story. But this will be a different option, and we'll get more information on that in a second. So through our members across the country, we understand the new time constraints on everyone in the education community. These solutions are meant to be as simple and lightweight as possible for both students and teachers without creating additional burdens for school leaders during this time. So traditional face-to-face exam administrations will not take place. Okay? Students will take a 45-minute online free response exam at home. I don't know what this means at all. Okay, I don't know what it means when it says students will take a 45-minute online free response exam. I don't know if that means it's like a practice exam to see if like everything works for you, and then you take the real exam. I don't understand this at all. So whatever this means, this might be for certain exams that have extended or free response, which we do, but ours is a little different because our free response you guys have to show work for. It's not like you're just writing a paragraph, right? So for right now I'm going to ignore this. Just kind of gloss over that for now. This is really important. Some students may want to take the exam sooner rather than later while the content is still fresh. Other students may want more time to practice. For each AP subject, there will be 2 different testing dates. Okay, now this is kind of tricky. I'm going to talk to administration and get like a confirmation on this. I'm going to talk to other AP teachers, kind of figure out this situation. First of all, the dates haven't been released, so I'm not worried too much about it right this second. But my plan is to only let you guys take the later date because it's stupid for you guys to take it early, in my opinion. First of all, we're already we haven't even finished the unit yet, so we have one more unit to get through. So we're not even done with the course yet, meaning that you're already if you were to take it really soon, you wouldn't be done with the course, which would make no sense. But also, I really would like us all to be on the same page. So I want us all to be working together, same page, same pace, and all that stuff. And I don't want some people taking it and some people not taking it. Also, I don't know. I gotta get more information on it because if they have 2 different testing dates, then that means people are taking it, seeing the entire exam, and then they can just tell their friends, hey, this was on this was on there, this was on there, unless there's 2 completely different tests. I don't know. So I'm going to get more information on that. I'll let you guys know as I get more information. So that's kind of a weird situation, but the plan right now, until I get more information, is that you guys will all just take it on the same date, probably the later date, to get more time to study. The full exam schedule specific for your response question types on each AP exam and additional testing details will be available by April 3rd. Really important. April 3rd, I think I'll be able to get a lot more information to you guys. So this is like the preliminary information. April 3rd, I should get like finalized dates, finalized like solutions to the questions you may have. We'll also unlock any relevant free response questions in AP Classroom for digital use so students can access all practice questions of that type that will appear in the exam. So I'm assuming they might be dropping the lockdown browser, so we'll be able to access any question, hopefully. That'd be ideal, but I'm not sure. Okay, so they surveyed a bunch of AP students. 91% of them said, yeah, we want to take it. This is it. We're putting the effort in the course. We want to take our test. So because of that they're going to allow that. So they say, we encourage students to wait until closer to the test date to decide. Any student already registered for an exam can choose to cancel at no charge. You're taking the test. So if you're in this class, you sign up for this class, you're taking the AP test. That was something that you knew when you signed up for the course in general, that isn't a choice. All right, so you will be taking the AP test. So this completely ignore that paragraph. The AP program will invest heavily over the next month in the following ways. Again, they talk about students can take 45-minute online free response exam at home. I have no clue what that means. I don't know if it's a practice exam just to see how it feels and get used to the format. I don't really know. AP curricula are locally developed, and we refer to school local decisions on how to best help students complete coursework. Okay, we're all good with this. This is what we're doing right now. Us completing coursework is me lecturing to you, putting videos up, assigning assignments, and getting grades and all that. So yes, we're losing instruction time a little bit, but in some ways, it's not affecting us that badly compared to like other people. Colleges do support the solutions. That means that, guys, whatever you get on this test is going to be like it was a normal AP test. No one's going to say, oh, well, you did that when there was a coronavirus, right? That's not, no colleges are going to be like holding that against you. So anything that you do, however good you do, however well you do, I should say, that's going to be your AP score, which is an advantage to you. And I'll kind of talk about the advantage in a second. So you'll get the credit. It'll be just like any other one. And colleges have accepted shortened exams for emergencies. So this isn't going to be anything, brand new to colleges. They understand the situation. You guys will take it on your computers. Don't need to worry about that. And then we're good with that because we all have computers. Okay, so test security is a concern. The exam questions are designed and administered in ways that prevent cheating. So they use a range of digital security tools and techniques, including plagiarism detection software to protect the integrity of the exams. So if you're thinking like, oh, this is perfect, I'm just going to like Google all my answers. It's not going to work like that. Oh, this is perfect, I can have my notes out. That's not going to work. All that good stuff. So what they're going to basically do is you'll probably have a lockdown browser, so you won't be able to go to any other site while you're on the computer. And they'll probably have either someone watching you take the test. So someone will just sit here through your camera and just watch you take the exam. And if they see you have a notebook out, which actually I think you'll have to have a notebook out, right? Because you got to write your work somewhere. So I don't really know how they're going to do that. Maybe you'll have to show your notebook or something that has nothing in it. I don't know. So that, or they'll have like a detection software to see if your eyes are glancing somewhere else or if you have any kind of fishy behavior. This isn't something you want to mess with. We'll talk about it more when time comes, when you get closer to the test. But like, yeah, it's just like as if it was an in-person. Nothing's changed. They said AP is used to scoring at homework. So this isn't anything new. They already have something in place. What that is, I'm not sure yet, but we'll find out. Okay, now this is really important. Course-specific exam information. All right, so you guys are Calculus A, B. So this first, well, I guess the second column here is exam questions that will be covered. The second column is exam questions that will not be covered. So if you guys go down to here, you guys are going to be taking a test on units 1 through 7. Super, super important, 1 through 7, which means that unit 8 is going to be completely thrown away. Now this is really interesting because Unit 8 is a unit that most people have the hardest time with. Okay, so in that sense, you guys might be a little bit excited about that. Now it stinks because it's an important piece of calculus. So what it is basically, you guys should be able to see on my screen. So is applications of integration. All right, it is pretty important. It has a lot of different topics. You guys can see it has 12 different topics within that unit. That's a large chunk, a very large chunk of calculus that's you're going to be missing. Those of you who continue with BC next year, you guys will start with this, so you'll do it next year. It won't be a huge issue. But yeah, there's gonna be, this is a lot of content, and like I said, it's content that people have problems with, especially these problems that say volumes. A lot of people struggle with volume problems. So in that sense, maybe that's a little bit of relief to you if you're freaking out or panicking a little bit. Probably the hardest unit in calculus is getting not going to be included. But we'll still have one more unit. So today, actually, we're beginning Unit 7. So today is the first day of Unit 7. It's not a very big unit. It won't take very long. It'll probably take us maybe like 2 weeks at the most. So we'll be done with Unit 7 early April is what my anticipation is. And then from then until the rest of the year, we're going to just do practice question after practice question after practice question. So we're going to take practice tests, do progress checks, a lot of free response questions because we've been missing those a lot. So I'm going to give you a lot of free response questions, all that good stuff you guys can expect. Okay, now these last columns are exam question types and then the 2 dates that they're giving you. All right, so if you guys notice, it's left blank. So for Calculus AB, notice that there's asterisks there. It's because it hasn't been announced yet. So you guys will know the exam question types and then the dates. That information will be by April 3rd. So I'm going to keep checking. I'll keep you posted. Any emails I get, any updates I get, you will see. And then we'll go over what type of questions they're going to ask and then the dates of the tests. Okay, instructional support, we're already doing all this. Okay, so the instructional support is everything they have on this website. We're already doing all of it. I've already given you all the progress checks, all the some of the notes I've taught you have been from AP, all this stuff we've done before. The only new thing is they have a YouTube page. So they understand that's kind of difficult for a lot of people. So what they have is this YouTube page, which I'll zoom in. So if you guys want to write this down, right down here, it says youtube.com/advanced placement. That's the AP YouTube page, and that's going to be using videos all across the country of teachers. So I don't know how they're going to do it yet. I don't think it's up and functional yet, or I don't know if they're posting to it yet. My assumption is they're going to split it up into all the different AP tests. So they'll have like AP, government as one little section or one playlist, AP physics as another, and then like AP calculus is another. So I don't know how that's going to be formatted, but if you guys go there, you can actually see, let me see if I can just go there now. They have videos for you guys. It'll be lectures, so they'll have content-specific videos. They might have general outline videos. But yeah, you guys can see, look. So I guess they do, yeah. So they have arts split up. They got history and social sciences, math, and computer science. So like, look, there's an entire playlist called Calc AB. You go there, and right now they're talking about modeling with differential equations, which is something we're going to do today. So it's going live in 2 days. So they're going to actually do live seminars, and then I'm sure they'll post their videos, right, of all these different Unit 7 ideas. Okay, and so that's just like another way. If you guys think like, oh, Mr. Harris, you did your best, didn't really suit me well, or maybe you're sick of hearing my voice, or maybe that you just want extra practice or extra content or extra, extra ways to really let it sit and let it hit home for you, then you can watch another person present it. All right, so I think this is going to be a really, really cool resource, and it's something I definitely recommend you guys check out. Okay, so that's kind of a cool new update. Go back. Shouldn't have clicked on everything. Okay, and I think that's it. That's everything I want to say. Yeah, that's it. Everything else we've been doing. Okay? So I know that was a lot. I felt like I could talk about all that because now I have some more time, right? We have only one more unit to get through. We're in pretty good shape in terms of getting through the class. So I was a little bit worried. I was a little bit worried about getting everything in time and still giving you chances to review for the AP test. Now I feel pretty confident. I feel pretty good. So you guys are almost done with calculus. Any questions you have on anything I just went over, please let me know. Jaden says omelet. It's a great question, Jaden. It's a great point to make. I don't really have an answer for you right now. I would assume with cheese would be my answer. So hopefully that helps. Also, I don't think you spelled it right. My mom made the best omelet. You're lucky. I love omelets. I haven't had an omelet in a long time, though. See, I knew you spelled it wrong. Payne says no, my dad. Uh-oh, we have an omelet off. Comment in the chat who you guys think has the better omelet. I'm just kidding, don't do that. That sounded like a good streamer, though. I'm getting the hang of this. All right. Oh, gosh. Now we have 3 people competing for the omelet championship. Whew. High stakes here. Okay, so if you guys have no questions regarding things other than omelets, let's go. Let's dive into what today's lesson is about. Whoa, now, Payne, let's not be mean. All right, clear my chat up, you guys. Don't make me. I've never muted anyone yet. Don't make me mute one of you, because I'd find it very entertaining. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be on differential equations. I want you guys to get your books open. Open them to page 602. And then once you do that, put in the chat like thumbs up, good, whatever, so I know you're ready. Brandon, you gotta wake up pretty early to fool me. I'm really tempted to look, though. Really tempted. Jasmine, are we going to review the College Board? Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Change of plans, people. You can still open your book to page 602. That's okay. But Jasmine makes a good point. We should probably talk about College Board. So let's get that up and open, actually. My bad. Guys, College Board from the weekend. Get that open. Should have been Unit 6. Multiple choice question Part B. And any questions you have, please put those in the chat as well. Mr. Harris, what is this on page 602? It doesn't look fun. We'll get to that. Let's do College Board first, Brandon, and then we'll talk about all that. Those are called slope fields, and they're a good time. All right, so my College Board's all up and open, ready for you guys. Four, 10, 4, 8. Okay, so definitely 4 looks like something you guys would want to go over. 4 and 10. Okay, so maybe 4 and 10 then. Sounds good to me. Okay, so let's just start then on college board. No. All right, so let's start with 4. So 4 looks kind of complicated, but I think you guys are going to be kind of mad when I go over it. So basically what we're looking for is the integral from -1 to 1 of 2 f of x minus g of x. Now the parentheses there, I don't know if maybe that threw people off. Just remember, the reason they put those parentheses there, I didn't put it in my answer here, but what they have is this. The reason they put these parentheses here is to show that everything is with respect to x. It's a little bit, at this point we've seen these enough where you'll even see me, I forget to put dx just because everything's in terms of x. So we know it's going to be taking the integral with respect to x. All right, so that's kind of like, I kind of understand why that would maybe throw people off. All we're using here is the rules of integration. So if you have a subtraction, you can split up the integrals. So I can split this up into the integral from -1 to 1 of 2 times f of x minus the integral from -1 to 1 of g of x. Just split up the integral. Notice the bounds stay the same for both of them. Okay, now I take the 2 out in front, so I just have f of x, and then minus, well, the integral from -1 to 1 of g of x is equal to -9. They give that to us. That was given to us in the problem. Okay, and then the integral from -1 to 1 of f of x was also given to us. That's 7. So I get 2 times 7 minus -9, which is 14 plus 9, which is 23. Oh, you guys are saying this is the wrong problem? Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, is that not number 4? Where am I? Unit 6, progress check B. Oh, that's why. Yeah, I know. I got you guys. I got you. Thank you. Appreciate it. This is tough. So, yes, I realize. I was in BC's. I realized BC has different questions than you guys, and I always forget that they have different questions. I keep thinking they have the same ones as you. All right. Hey, but that was a good problem though, right, guys? Instead of spamming in the chat, Jaden, before I mute you, that was a pretty good question for us to go over, was it not? That was relevant, right? Integral rules. That's a pretty relevant question. So maybe you guys should pay attention to that. Make sure you know what was going on. Instead of yelling at me in the chat, Jaden. Maybe we should think of that. Pretty useful situation there. Jeez. You guys are brutal. Okay, I'm on the right one now. Okay, it says the graph of the function g on the closed interval 0 to 10 consists of 4 line segments as shown above. Let f be the function defined by f of x equals the integral from 4 to x squared of g of t. What is the value of f prime of 3? All right, so we got a lot going on here. So we're definitely going to need the second fundamental theorem of, we're definitely going to need the fundamental theorem of calculus, but part 2. So we're looking for f prime of 3. Well, first we need to find f prime of x, right? Can't find f prime of 3 without f prime of x. So to find f prime of x, you're taking the derivative of the x, and you're also going to be taking the derivative of the right side of x. Whoops, should be a t. Sorry about that. So f prime of x is equal to the derivative of the integral from 4 to x squared of g of t dt. Okay? So what we basically have is this then. F prime of x is equal to, well, you plug in x squared for t, so you get g of x squared. Now the big thing, and I think people forget this a lot, is you have to use chain rule. So you have to multiply by the derivative of that inner function. So you substitute x squared in for t, you get g of x squared, and then multiplied by the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Okay? Now the question's asking for f prime of 3, right? So I get g of 3 squared, f prime of 3 equals g of 3 squared, which is g of 9, times 2 times 3. Okay, and now g of 9 is actually given to us because we're given the graph of g. Remember, they don't give us a graph, we're not using it, so we have to use it. So right about at 9, what does that look like? Wait, hold on. G of 9, oh, it looks like it's 4. That's what I would say, 4. So it's going to be equal to 4 times 6, which is equal to 24. Yeah, I think it's 4. And I guess what we could use is, I mean, we could find an equation of that line, right? So we could take the slope if we wanted to and find the equation of that line, but I think a pretty good estimate would be 4. It looks like it's right in between. Yeah, and that would make sense because it's moving, yeah, down 2 and to the right 2. Yeah, so definitely a slope of negative 1, so it's definitely 4. Okay, yeah, so 4 times 6 is 24. So I just commented in the chat, so you guys should be very, very thanking me, really, is what should be happening right now. Everyone should be like, wow, Mr. Harris, you're the best. Really appreciate the help. Awesome job today. That's kind of the feedback I was hoping for instead of people like, you know, yelling at me for doing the wrong problem on accident. But it's okay. We'll get used to that. That's okay. Okay, what other questions that we had? All right, so what time is it? 2:37? Guys, I might have to reroute a little bit. Let me get some feedback in the chat. How do we feel about this assignment? Are there a lot more questions we want to go over, or is there, like, I see definitely 10 is another one to go over, and then maybe 8. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the comments. That was unprovoked. Just people telling me I'm the best. That's pretty cool. You know, completely unprovoked. I like that. But if you guys have a lot of more questions, I might just take some more time doing those. And then maybe just move everything back. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to do some stuff. That's good, that's good. Okay, so maybe that's the case. And all right, if people look like, it looks like people are all right. If you guys have any more questions on that assignment, please come in during my office hour from 1 to 2 today, and I'll answer more questions you guys have about that. But for now, let's get into the notes then, and so we can stay on schedule for the calendar. It might be behind a day maybe, but we'll see. So, okay, again, page 602. Let's turn there. Move this. That's what you guys should see. Nice slope field, 602. Give you about a minute to get your books out, open to there. You should already be there. This is me answering 3 different times because I know you guys will ask 3 different times what page I said. So, you know, just answer it now. Might as well get that out of the way. Okay, think we should be good. So, let's talk. We are on Unit 7, the last unit of calculus for your sakes. Okay. So just for your guys' sake, this year, this is the last unit. And this unit is called differential equations. So, differential equations. Big word there is differential. Okay, we all know what an equation is, but we're talking about differential. When you think of differential, go ahead in the chat. Throw in what do you think of when you think of differential. In the chat, tell me what you think. What does differential, what comes to mind when you think of differential? When you think of that word? Derivatives, differentiation, perfect. Yes, very good, people. Exactly, differentiability or derivatives. Okay, so that's what we should be thinking of. A differential equation is an equation involving derivatives, differentiability. All right, so what we want to be doing then is being able to analyze these equations. And we've done like a little bit of practice with this. All right, we did implicit differentiation. Remember, implicit differentiation created differential equations because we got something where it was just x and y's, right? And we did implicit differentiation to get them in terms of x primes and y primes. And then we did various things with those, okay, various, I guess, steps. And whatever we wanted to with those, we did. So we're going to be working on those again and focusing solely on those. So I'm going to read the bottom of this page just as an introduction. So it says, perhaps the most important of all applications of calculus is differential equations. When physical scientists or social scientists use calculus, more often than not it is to analyze a differential equation that has arisen in the process of modeling some phenomenon that they are already studying. Although it is often impossible to find an explicit formula for the solution of a differential equation, we will see that the graphical and numerical approaches provide the needed information. Okay, so that's some important things in there. So a differential equation is super relevant. Okay, now I'm not saying it's going to be exactly relevant to something that you're doing in your life right now, or even something that maybe you will at one point. But the important thing about differential equations is it's modeling. Okay, that word modeling. And I've told you guys this before, my favorite class I ever took in college was math modeling. And most of the time we were at modeling situations, the world isn't a very linear place. Very rarely do you see linear, linear equations being represented in real life situation. Most of the time it's not so cut and dry. On top of that, a lot of situations have a bunch of variables they depend on. Easy example, population. Okay, population depends on predation. Population depends on migration. Population depends on birth rate, death rate. Population depends on all of this stuff. Predators, these different factors. Weather. I mean, there's just millions of factors that can be present in a population or in a situation involving population growth. So it's not so cut and dry. It's not saying like, hey, 3 bunnies are born every 5 minutes for the rest of the time. Okay, it's not that easy. It doesn't work like that. So when we think of that stuff, the differential equations help us a lot because what happens is you have, like, for instance, a set time. So you might say like, oh, in the year 2010, this city had 500 people. In the year 2012, it has 1,200. Okay, whatever. Now, there's a lot of factors, like I said, that affect that. And a lot of those factors are rates of change. So you can say that the migration rate is 20 people per month. Okay? The amount of people dying is 10 people per year or whatever. Okay, now all these different rates are being combined with the fact that you start at a certain population. So you guys know that rates are derivatives of the original. So we have all these different factors being combined together and used to model situations. So now that's the goal of this entire unit, is we're saying, all right, how do we work with derivatives and normal functions and kind of work together to get solutions? That's the goal of differential equations. So on 603, at the top of the page, it says modeling, and that's what we're going to start with. Now, guys, this can be very complicated. Like I said, I took a college course. It wasn't just differential equations, but I took a college course that went over modeling. I mean, it was an entire course dedicated just to this topic, like this topic alone, an entire course, an entire semester dedicated to it. So this is like a really big topic. We're going to boil it down to something very small. All right, this is only like a section of the unit, a very small section. So this stuff this stuff can get very complicated, and this stuff can be simplified. All right, so I'm going to try to keep it to a reasonable, still challenge you, but still keep it reasonable to understand. All right, so starting at the top of the page, in describing the process of modeling in section 1.2, we talked about formulating a mathematical model of a real-world problem, either through intuitive reasoning about the phenomenon or from a physical law based on evidence from the experiments. The mathematical model often takes the form of a differential equation. That is, an equation that contains an unknown function and some of its derivatives. Okay, so I want you guys to copy that definition down. I'm gonna underline it in pencil. It says an equation that contains an unknown function and some of its derivatives. Then I want you guys just to copy that down in your notes. That's your definition of a differential equation. An equation that contains an unknown function and some of its derivatives. Very, very important that the word unknown function. So the idea of a differential equation, now when you guys were doing implicit differentiation, you were given the original function. And then you guys had to take the derivative and so on. Okay, this situation is a little bit different because we have this unknown function that we're looking for. So we're trying to get to that unknown function. And we know some of its derivatives. So this is not surprising because in a real-world problem, we often notice that changes occur and we want to predict future behavior on the basis of how current values change. Let's begin by examining several examples of differential equations arise when we model physical phenomena. All right, so we're going to actually do some actual modeling. So we're actually going to see circumstances where this plays part. So when we're solving, when we're solving a differential equation, what we're doing is we're trying to find the original function. That's the goal. So when we're solving a differential equation, we're trying to find the original function. We're going to be given something. We're going to be given something in terms of derivatives. We have to get back to the original function. As you guys can imagine, we're not going to get to it right now, but pretty soon we'll get to the point where we're going to be taking integrals. Right? If we're given a derivative and we want to get back to the original function, we take an integral. Take the integral of the derivative, that gets us back to the original function. It's not going to be that straightforward, not that easy, okay? But we'll see examples and we'll have ways to do that, okay? And we'll get to that. But for now, all I want to do is just work with differential equations, modeling real-world situations. Okay, and the first one is going to be population. Now, they talk about population here. And they don't give an exact example. They kind of do this generic example. So you guys will see one model for growth of population is based on the assumption that the population grows at a rate proportional to the size of the population. What you guys notice in these examples is the word proportional quite a bit. We're going to talk about proportionality in the problem I give you, and we're going to discuss what proportionality means, and I guess how it kind of relates to differential equations. We'll talk about that when we go through a problem, but that's a big word, so notice that. That is a reasonable assumption for population of bacteria or animals under ideal conditions. Unlimited environment, adequate nutrition, absence of predators, immunity from disease. So that's kind of like a growth without like anything really, causing issues. But like we know, real world, there's a lot of factors. So let me get my notes out. All right, so just so you guys know, I assigned the Khan Academy for you guys due tomorrow. I don't think you're going to have enough information today to do it. So instead, what I'm going to do is change the date to Wednesday. So I'm going to do that now just because I don't want to forget. So tomorrow we're going to go over more examples and we'll get much more in detail. So I'm going to change those dates for you guys. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So this is going to be 10.1. Modeling differential equations. All right, all of Unit 10 is going to be differential equations. And so we're going to start with, you guys should already have notes. I apologize. You should probably already have the definition of a differential equation. Real quick, let me just show you like, all right, I'm going to simplify that. So instead of writing the word differential, I'm just going to put diff. So this is examples of differential equations. A couple examples would be like y plus dy dx equals 5x. Or y double prime plus 3y prime equals 2x. Sometimes you might see in terms of a function, so f of x minus f double prime of x equals like x f of x. Okay, those are just examples. That's kind of like the format you'll be seeing, and that's how you know it's a differential equation. It's just, again, basically you have derivatives mixed with original values. All right, we're going to talk about population and word problems. Differential equations, you'll see, they'll stick to like a lot of the same types of problems. All right, and you'll see this in your Khan Academy when you guys do it, which you probably won't be able to do tonight, but you'll be able to do tomorrow. So one of the big problems, and one of the really often modeled problems, is population. You'll see that modeled a ton in differential equations. So what's always consistent is we let P of t equal the population. So it doesn't matter what you're working with. P of t is going to represent the population. Could be organisms or like bacteria. It could be elephants. Could be anything. People, population. Okay? Which means t is equal to the time. So t is your time. And the derivative of p with respect to t is equal to the rate of change of population. All right, so that's the general, the key factors, the key pieces of our population word problems. So for us to actually get differential equations. So the idea right now is we're going to be given word problems, and we're not going to be asked to solve the differential equation. All we're going to be asked to do is create a differential equation that models the situation. Okay, so again, we're modeling real-world problems. Okay, so in order to do that, we want to find what is the rate of change of population going to be equal to? So that's what we're ultimately looking for on these problems. What is the rate of change going to be equal to? So to write our differential equation, it's going to be some derivative is equal to. Now, just thinking about an example, okay, so the rate of change of population, how are we going to find that? Well, rate of change is going to be subtraction. Okay, now we got to figure out like what exactly would we be subtracting? Well, it's pretty simple. The population is dependent on how many are entering the population and how many are exiting the population. So the rate of change of the population is going to be the rate of entry minus the rate of exit. The rate of entry minus the rate of exiting. So a couple of things can affect your rate of entry and your rate of exit. One of those big things is birth/death rate. So organisms entering the population would be the ones being born. Organisms exiting the population would be ones that die. So your birth and your death rate have a huge impact. Migration, in and out. So your migration rate, you might have a migration rate, meaning organisms are migrating west at a rate of 2 organisms per hour. Okay, that's a rate that they are exiting your population. Organisms might be migrating in from somewhere, at a rate of 3 per hour. So they're migrating in, so it's at a rate of entry. You might see like a predation rate. Okay, predation rate can, let me put rate at the end of that. Predation rate can affect your population, right? That'd be a rate of exit because death. So you have falcon is eating. Oh god, that was pretty dark. Let me back up. A plane is taking out birds at a rate of 3 birds per 2 hours. Let's bring it back to the birds and the planes. So that would be an example. It's not really a predator, but it would be an example of how maybe a population would be getting decreased other than just like natural death. So maybe a predator has that. Mr. Harris hates birds. It's not that I hate birds. It's just like, sometimes they can kill people, and that's not cool. I'm not a bird killer, all right? Let me make this very clear. It just happens to be, for whatever reason, my brain immediately goes to birds flying into planes. That's not my fault. That's a natural reaction to that, a natural thought. You guys can crucify me for that all you want. Thank you, Tanis. Oh, hey, Tanis. Thank you for supporting me. Okay, so guys, that's example of a population word problem. Obviously, we didn't get into like the really meat and potatoes of it. We're gonna do that tomorrow. So calculus, you guys are good for today. It's a good stopping point. We're gonna do an example tomorrow and see how we can decipher it and break it down to get an actual word problem and to get an equation. So thank you all for the patience and the attentiveness. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll be here from 1 to 2 on my office hour. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bird exists. I don't actively search to ever affect a bird. I really do like birds. It's more of the planes that have an impact on the birds, not me. Brandon, there's no links in the chat, so it might show for yours, but no one else can see it. So you're welcome, Zach. I didn't even know you were here. Have a great day. Sorry, Brandon. If you want to describe the link to me, though, I'm assuming it has something to do with birds, if I had to guess, but that'd be like a crazy prediction. Speaking of which, I hear birds outside my apartment. It sounds really good. No, I was gonna Oh, Brandon, classic. It's a classic joke right there. I would have loved to have been rickrolled. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. All the algebra people can listen to me sing. Never gonna run around and desert you. It's a great song, though, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. You're no stranger to love. You know the rule. Facts. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Do 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 do. Hey, have a great time doing your physiology. See you, Brandon. Thank you, Tanis. Tanis, you are the bodyguard of Algebra 2 class. Good morning, Sierra. Good morning, all Algebra kids coming in. Go ahead, let me know how you guys' weekend's going. Love to hear some comments. Oh no, no more Rickrolls. Rickrolls are fantastic, Molly Wade. They bring joy to everyone. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. That's like my introduction music. So as you guys are like coming into the stream, you can hear me serenade you. Maybe I should just play it. $20 hours? Man, Tanis making progress in Animal Crossings. I hope it was a great time. I hope you had a blast. I played probably 8 hours of Rocket League. You know the rules, and so do I. Only 9 people so far? It's pretty lame showing right now of Algebra 2. My foot is asleep. There is a dog laying on my lap, and a dog is taking up the rest of my bed. Oh, man. Benny. Benjo. You gotta make sure, just kick them off real quick. We are tired. Yeah, I mean, usually I have a little more people in here, and only 9 people. Kind of a lame showing today. If you guys haven't liked, by the way, feel free to throw that like. Chris, woke up to me. Hey, you know what, Chris? I appreciate you being here. That's what's really important, is that you made it. You may have been late, but you made it. I'm going to give about 2 more minutes, guys. Maybe people will pop in. Pretty lame viewing so far, but that's okay. I got 9 people. It's 9 people I can teach. I had a hard time getting up this morning, too. I was tired. There we go. There's the likes. Jaden, good to see you. All right, guys. All 9 of you. If you guys go to the calendar, you can check out what the plan is for the week. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully that you're finding things to do, even though it's kind of a weird time and we're all supposed to be quarantined and whatnot. Hopefully you guys are all active. Going for walks, maybe a jog or something, keeping your brains going. Hopefully schoolwork is going all right for you. I know you guys are doing very good in my class, so I appreciate it. I want to start actually with kind of referencing that. So I know there's only 8 of you, which is a little bit lower than I'm used to with this class. So if you guys have anyone, or you know any of your friends or anyone else who's in this class, go ahead and bother them and say, hey, Mr. Harris is looking for you, and if you don't show up, you get a detention. So just like, I can't really enforce that, but just like say that and maybe people will show up. That's okay. Maybe you guys are watching YouTube. So hello everyone watching on YouTube. Go ahead and like that video real quick. So big thing over the weekend was I had that survey for you guys to fill out, and a lot of people filled it out, and I got a lot of really, really good feedback. So I really appreciate that. So those of you who took the time to fill that out, much appreciated. I went through every single response. I went through every single one of your responses, looked at all the feedback, all the survey questions, and it was really, really good, and I appreciate that. So this is my first time, obviously streaming. Never done this before. Last week was the first week ever, and your feedback was really important because that kind of gave me a guideline of what the expectation is from you, and then I can adjust what I do. So to address that, first of all, thank you for the positive feedback. So a lot of people seem to really enjoy this. So I like that a lot because even if only 9 of you are here, that's okay. Because if this is really beneficial to 9 of you, then I'll do it. All right, I have no problem doing that. So those of you who really enjoyed this, I'm very happy about that. And I hope that it continues being beneficial. I hope that it wasn't just like a 1-week thing and people get sick of it. Please just stay with me on this. Keep trying to stay motivated and to do your work. And I really do appreciate you guys for being here and being active and engaging and helping me out. So that was number 1. A lot of great positive feedback, made me feel good about what I'm doing. I appreciate that. A couple things that people like constructive advice. So a couple advice I got. Number 1 big thing was behind me, like my wall. So I got that a lot. I got a lot of people saying like, hey, Mr. Harris, decorate your wall with something. And it's a good idea, and I'm willing to do that. I'll have to like order some stuff because as you know, just like my room, I don't have anything to decorate it with. So I'd have to order some things. But if you can think of anything, yeah, let me know. Maybe I'll just take the whiteboard down and I can just put some like posters up or something like fun back there. So I like that idea. I would just like draw something up, but yeah. If you guys know me by now, you know that's not going to happen because I can't draw. So that would just be a joke. So I like that idea. That's good advice. Kind of make it more of a homey atmosphere instead of like looking like I'm in like a prison doing this. So I kind of get that. If you have any advice on what I could get, go ahead. Tanis, thank you for calling Molly and telling her to go to math class. Appreciate that. Keeping people on their toes. The next big thing is timestamps. So very important, I guess, kind of idea was the timestamps. I saw that quite a bit. Here's my thing with the timestamps. So I get where you guys are coming from. The argument is like, hey, Mr. Harris, I can't make the streams or I don't go to the streams, but I do watch the videos. I would love it if I could just go to the video, fast forward to what I need to get to, so I don't have to watch you babble on, which I tend to do. And people, I guess, don't, shocking, I know, some people don't find me entertaining, so they don't want to watch me, like, kind of, go back and forth with the chat. I know, can't believe it. Or sing, or they don't want to hear me sing Rick rolls. I get it. Well, I really don't get it, but, to each his own, whatever. So those people, those select few that would rather just get the content, those people wanted to see if maybe I could do like a timestamp. So I could say, hey guys, at 2 hours and 13 minutes exactly, we started notes. At 2 hours and 17 minutes, we did problem 1. At 2 hours 18 minutes, we reviewed it, and blah, 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 blah. That was the understanding I got from the whole timestamps idea. Here's the issue with that. When I upload my streams, I don't upload all of it. You can only upload 2 hours right away. The rest of it gets uploaded later. So I wouldn't be able to just like finish this video and then really quick like make timestamps and then be good. So I wouldn't be able to do that, which kind of stinks. Because if I could, it'd be a little different. But instead, I have to wait. I don't know how long it takes for my video to actually upload the entire 3 hours. But I would have to do that, and I'd also have to go back through and rewatch 3 hours of my footage just to timestamp like specific parts. To me, I think that's asking a little too much. Some people can do it. Maybe other streams you see, other YouTubers you might see, because they have editors who get paid to do it. All right, I'm not getting paid to timestamp videos. It's going to be a lot of work, and I don't think it's going to be that useful. So those of you who might have that issue or that really bothers you, unless you can think of a better solution than me, like having to rewatch videos, go through and timestamp. I already do timestamp, by the way. Maybe some of you didn't know that. In the description, I do tell you where everything's at, and I tell you what we cover. Tana says, how much are you paying? I'm paying nothing. I refuse. Good try, though. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I get it. Trust me. I absolutely get it. If this was like a big production and I was getting millions of views and it was going to be something that benefit all people, absolutely. 100% I would timestamp it. I don't even know how many people are really watching the video back through, first of all. Second of all is, like, you guys are my students. Like, a little tough love here. You can suck it up. You can scroll through a video for 5 extra minutes to find what you need. All right, I know. I'm such a jerk. But, yeah, I think you guys can figure it out. It's not that hard to, like, at least at the very end of the video is going to be Algebra 2. So you can just fast forward to near the end and then just basically see when I switch to my notebook, it's kind of your signal like, hey, he's probably going to do some work. All right? So those of you who would really like a timestamp, that's kind of my take on it. Again, if you can think of a really creative way that's not going to take me hours and hours to do, fine. But if not, I'm pretty happy with how this is right now. Those are the 2 biggest feedback. I got some feedback on, like, the delay. I know the delay is going to happen. I don't think there's really much I can do about it because I don't want to, like, sacrifice the quality of the stream and the quality of the video just to have it more, the delay less, personally. So that's kind of my mindset on that. I'm not too worried about it. I think those are the main ones. Those 3 were the main ones that I got feedback on. Just put, like, signs on the top of your screen when we do notes and assignments. Yeah. Put signs on the top of your... Oh, I see what you're saying. It's actually not a horrible idea. But again, I don't really know... I don't know how much that's really going to help. Because at the end of the day, right, if you're watching the video back, you're just going to be scrolling through anyways, like fast forwarding, looking for when you see me, like, hold up a sign. So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to save you all that much. Yeah, that's good. That's good advice, Tanis. It is good advice. It's going to be something like, I don't know. I'll think about it. Thank you for the feedback, though. I'll think about it. I don't know. I don't think it's that huge of a deal. I've had to do online learning before. I've had to watch videos of lectures for 45 minutes. It wasn't too difficult for me to fast forward to parts like what I needed, I guess. So. That's my feedback. I don't think there's anything really else I wanted to address with the streams. I just appreciate you guys, your input and your participation. As always, if you have more stuff you want to add, any more advice, any more feedback, I'm always available. Email me, put it in the chat, something. I love it. I'm trying to do the best I can. So, moving on. 7.5 is what we're doing today. Learning target 27. I can use properties of logarithms to solve problems. So now we're going to actually use properties of logarithms. If you guys remember, we had exponential properties. So for example, we had an exponential rule that said if you have a fraction, so if you have like 2 to the x over 2 to the third, you can rewrite that as 2 to the x minus 3. All right, and if you had multiplication, if you had 2 to the third times 2 to the x, you could write that as 2 to the 3 plus x. So we had all these rules for exponentials, same idea. We have properties of logarithms. So ways we can look at logarithm equations and logarithmic expressions, and we can rewrite them. That's the learning target. Blake, hey, I won't be here on Mondays anymore because I've got another class at the same time. Sorry. It's okay, Blake. I appreciate you letting me know. Just make sure you go back and you watch the videos. And then you can always go to my office hour if you have any questions. And ideally, it'd be nice if maybe you could switch back and forth between that class and this class because they got to understand you might have other classes too. So, see if maybe there could be like a compromise. What class is it, actually? I'm out of curiosity. If it's a class everyone's in, I might need to adjust or talk to that teacher. So if you're still here, Blake, let me know. So guys, reviewing Chapter 7, Quiz 1 and 2 is what we're going to start with. If you guys have any questions on that, that was an assignment due on Google Classroom. So we're going to start with that. And then 7.5 notes is what we'll do. It's bio. So I got to imagine, go ahead and comment right now if you're here. How many people are in bio? Is it like everyone? Is basically everyone in bio? So Jaden said he is. Blake, you are. I mean, is this like a class sophomores are in? Like, is every sophomore in Mrs. Rainey's bio? Maddie, yes, but not that class. So I'm assuming, Maddie, you're good then? You can show up to the streams. You have no anything else is interfering? Okay, so more people don't have Rainey. Okay. I'm just trying to get a gauge of how many people, like, I need to, I guess, worry about. It's not a huge deal because, like we've said before, I'm posting all these videos, so I'm not really too concerned about it. If she wants to have class and you'd rather go there and watch my video afterwards, I don't really care. How's she doing it though, out of curiosity, Jaden? How's she setting up her class? Or Blake, anyone? Is she doing like YouTube? Is she doing like is she doing Zoom or something like that? Zoom, okay. She only does it on Mondays. Oh, okay. All right, that makes me feel a little bit better. All right, yeah, no problem then, guys. If she only does it Mondays and that's the only day, then yeah, that's fine. Just make sure, like I said, if you guys want to see my video, I'll post it so you can just watch whatever we did. No worries at all. All right, cool. So, like I said, today we are going to do 7.5 notes, but first we're going to review Chapter 7, Quiz 1 and 2. So you guys can see I posted it up. Make sure you get that open and out. I have it up on my screen. Just a reminder of what the questions are. Oh, it's only for questions you need her to answer. Oh, okay, perfect. No issues then. Fine with me. Thanks for letting me know, Blake. Okay, so guys, the quiz. Quiz 1 and 2. Before you submit it, is due tonight, I believe. I don't remember what time. Pretty sure it's due tonight. So if you guys have any questions, let's address them now. Yeah, it's due tonight, 11:59. I might start putting some more stuff in the chat like I just did there, just in case people want to know, like, you know, if people mute me or whatever or get distracted, don't hear what I say, you guys can just look and see my comment. Tanis, was that streamer beef? Yeah, Tanis. Me and Mrs. Rainey, we're beefing. You guys make sure you hop in her stream and say, hey, everyone switch to Mr. Harris's. This is way better. That's funny. Jaden, how do I solve the problems with inequalities? All right, Jaden, give me a specific one. Let's do one. Because it depends. Depends on the question. If it's logarithm, if it's exponential, it kind of depends on what the question is. So, stream raid. All right, guys, everyone leave my stream. Head to Mrs. Rainey. Say, Mrs. Rainey, we're done with this one. Everyone, let's go to Mr. Harris's. Whoa. My bad. Number 10. All right. Okay, let me switch my screen over to my notebook. All right, so this is going to be your unit today, 7.5, Properties of Logarithms. Right now we're going to do a quiz review. So Jaden said number 10 on the quiz review, so you guys can at least check your work. The question says to solve log base 5 of 4x minus 1 is greater than or equal to log base 5 of x plus 2. All right, that's the problem that's given to you. So what we want to do is we want to solve, okay? First things first, both sides of the inequality, we have the same log. We have log base 5, log base 5. So the only way this inequality is true is if the insides of the logarithms match that statement. So that means 4x minus 1 has to be greater than or equal to x plus 2. All right, just solving for this, I get 3x is greater than or equal to 3. X is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, now you guys will remember when I was doing these problems, I went through sometimes, so I would do this process and then I would go through and check the insides. When I say check the insides, I meant check the insides of these parentheses, and I would make sure, like I'd find the solutions where they're defined. All right, because I got to make sure that in this answer, x is greater than or equal to 1, I got to make sure that there's nothing in there that will make one of these negative or 0. Because if they're negative or 0, that's going to be undefined, which is no good for us. We call those extraneous solutions, and we don't want those. So basically what I'm looking for is what would make the inside of these parentheses less than 0. Okay, well, nothing here is going to be negative values. Well, x is greater than or equal to 1 is not going to include any negative values. So we're good with that right side. Same thing here. Any negative values and 0. So 0 will make this negative, which is bad. But x is greater than or equal to 1 doesn't include 0. So if I were to plug in 1, I get 4 minus 1. That's a positive value. That's fine. All right, so that answers my question. Whenever you have a greater than sign, you don't have to check the insides of the logs, which means my answer is x is greater than or equal to 1. So that's all it is, Jaden. Any more questions for you guys? Yeah, no problem, Jin. No problem, Damon. I appreciate you getting on. You can watch the beginning. We just went over number 10 on the quiz review, so you can take a look at that, maybe take a picture real quick so you have it. Other than that, we've just been kind of talking about the survey I had you guys fill out and what the plan is for today. All right, so I'm not getting anyone else in the chat asking any questions, so I think we should be good. All right, which means we can get started on the notes. So I need you guys to go to your books. I will put the page number in chat. So page 485 is going to be the page we are on today. Page 485, people. I put it 3 times, so those of you guys who think you're funny, there it goes. So the 4 people who are going to ask me what page number, 45. Give me some feedback in chat when you guys are good with that, when it's up and open, so I know I can start talking. Creative, Tanis. What book are we in? Get out your Calculus 1 book. Actually, this is Huckleberry Finn. Today we're going to read Harry Potter. Thank you, Aiden. All right. I guess I could actually real quick show you. Okay. So I'm assuming we're okay, even though Aiden was the only one who really responded. I'm okay. That's okay. I'm assuming we're all good. So you can see on my screen as well what we're going through right now is 7.5, properties of logs. So I'm going to read the top here where it says why. It says the level of acidity in food is important to some consumers with sensitive stomachs. Most of the foods that we consume are more acidic than basic. The pH scale measures acidity. A low pH indicates an acidic solution, a high pH indicates a basic solution. There's another example of a logarithmic scale based on the powers of 10. Black coffee has a pH of 5, while neutral water has a pH of 7. Black coffee is 100 times as acidic as neutral water. All right, so acidity, right? So they kind of show you the acidity. Obviously, we know lemons are very acidic, so they're at very low pH. Sauerkraut's pretty acidic, 3.5. Black coffee's 5. And then you get less acidic, so more basic, going up this way. So eggs, milk of magnesia, which I think that milk of magnesia is like a remedy to help with certain bodily movements. I think that was phrased pretty accurately. I think that's the point of milk of magnesia. I'm pretty sure. Not positive. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what the point of it is. So that's stuff that's more basic. Good little science class introduction there. Okay. So, properties of logarithms. Because logarithms are exponents, the properties of logarithms can be derived from the properties of exponents. That makes sense, right? We know logarithms and exponentials can be rewritten as one another. So they can be the exact same thing. They're inverses of one another, but they can be rewritten as each other. So the properties hold, the same properties for your exponentials hold for your logarithms. The product property of logarithms is what we'll start with. So we're going to start with the product property of logs. I'll shorten logarithms to logs sometimes, just easier. So I want you guys to copy down the key concept. I don't want to have to write it. There's no point in me writing the entire thing out. So you guys can see on my screen and also in your books, I want you guys to take some time, copy down this key concept. Big thing I would copy down is the symbols and example, especially the example, so you can see exactly how this is used. All right, so there's my notebook, product property of logs, and I just want you to copy down the key concept underneath there. And then in the chat, let me know when you guys are done so I can keep going. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Aiden. All right, about 1 more minute. Tan is good, thank you. Done. Okay, I think we should be good then. So to show this property is true, so they have a little proof here. Not super worried about the proof, but it is something like I can just look at. You guys can see on my screen real quick, just to talk about. So they say let b of x, b to the x equal a and b to the y equals c. All right, so they're just creating their own little equations. Using the definition of a logarithm, we can rewrite this. So remember, my base turns into the base of the log. So this turns into log base b, because b is my base. And then you take that opposite side a, and that becomes inside the log. So log base b of a, your exponent just comes down and remains on that side of the equation. So x equals log base b of a. And then the exact same process here. So y becomes, or b becomes your base, so log base b. Y becomes on its own on that side of the equation, so y is on its own. And then c is inside your logarithm. So that's just using the definition of a logarithm to get these. Then they say by substitution, so you know that b to the x and b to the y equals a and c. So that means b to the x times b to the y would equal a times c. So that's where they get this from. Well, we just found some of these. So we know exponential, our exponential power rule, says that if we have two of the same bases being multiplied together, we add their exponents. So b to the x plus y equals ac, which means log base b of b to the x plus y equals log base b of ac. That's called the property of equality. So guys, we've been working on that, right? When our quiz, we had a question that we just went over with Jaden. Okay, it was inequality, but if you have the same log base on either end, that means that the inside of the log has to be equal. So all we did was we added a log here. Okay, and then based off of that, log base b of b is just equal to x plus y. That's called the inverse property of exponents. And log base b of ac stays the same. Okay, and then your final conclusion would be we know what x equals. X equals log base b of a. We know what y equals log base b of c. So log base b of a plus log base b of c equals log base b of ac. That's just a proof. I'm not going to ask you to memorize a proof. I'm not going to ask you to go through it. I just want to show you guys like kind of where this product property comes from. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. Example 1, use the product property. So we want to use the product property to approximate values. Okay, and here's how we're going to do it. So let me look at example 1. So we have log base 4 of 3 is approximately 0.7925. We want to look for a log base 4 of 192. Okay, so what they do is this. They say, all right, so log base 4 of 192. Let's rewrite that. Obviously, if you have a calculator, just put it in the calculator. Real easy. But we want to somehow rewrite this so we have log base 4 of 3 because we're given that value. So what we need to do is we need to say, what is log base 4 of 192 equal to? Well, it's going to be equal to log base 4 of something times 3. The reason I chose that 3, the reason why it's something times 3 is because I know what log base 4 of 3 is. So somehow, I want to rewrite this so it's log base 4 of 3. So all I got to figure out is, what is 192 divided by 3? Well, 64. Okay, so what we end up getting then is this is going to be equal to log base 4 of 64 plus log base 4 of 3. This we got this answer, or this solution right here, because of using this product property. So the product property gives us log base 4 of 64 plus log base 4 of 3. And we can simplify this even further, again, assuming we don't have a calculator, to log base 4 of 4 cubed plus log base 4 of 3. Okay, and the inverse property of logs, remember that a log base 4 is the inverse of 4 to some value. Again, logs and exponentials are inverses, so log base 4 of 4 is the inverse of one another, meaning they will always equal 1. So what we end up with is just this x value. And this x value is 3. So we get 3 plus log base 4 of 3, which we know is 3 plus, they give us what log base 4 of 3 is, it's 0.7925. So my final answer is 3.7925. So go ahead, take a second, see if that works for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Just using the product property. Yes, Sarah, this is still page 45. Nice of you to join, Sarah. Aiden says yes. Okay, no other comments, so the silence in chat is the assumption that you guys are okay. So what I want you guys to do is guided practice 1 on page 485. So I put that right up there in chat, guided practice 1 on page 485. I want you guys to put that. And I want you to put your answers below that comment. So I'll actually keep up this example for now so you guys can look at it as you're doing the guided practice. Without using a calculator, I want you guys to solve guided practice 1. Sierra said 16. So Sierra, you want to double check that work? You're not I think you're on the right track. I don't think you solved the answer all the way, but I think you have your piece is correct with the 16. That doesn't end up being our answer though. If you are stuck and you can't get an answer, put that as well in the chat. Chris says stuck. Okay, thank you, Chris. I'll give it like 1 more minute. Working on it, but stuck at the moment. Okay, no problems. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So go ahead and check your work as I go to see if maybe at least you got some parts, some pieces. All right, so to start, we're given what log base 4 of 2 is. We want to know what log base 4 of 32 is. So again, if we're looking for log base 4 of 32, that's going to be equal to log base 4 of something times 2. Again, it's times 2 because I know what log base 4 of 2 is. So I need log base 4 of 2, but it's not just 2. To get to 32, I have to multiply 2 by 16. So I think, Sierra, that's probably where you're getting your 16 from. All right, but we're not done. So this is just saying that these are equivalent, right? Log base 4 of 32 is equal to log base 4 of 16 times 2. That makes sense, right? 16 times 2 is 32, right? Nothing crazy there. The reason we're doing this, though, is because now we can rewrite this as log base 4 of 16 plus log base 4 of 2. That's beneficial to us because now we have solutions to at least one of these. We know what log base 4 of 2 is. What we don't know is log base 4 of 16, but we can find it. So what we do is we rewrite it as log base 4 of 4 squared. So log base 4 of 4 squared plus 0.5 because log base 4 of 2 is 0.5. So this ends up being 2 plus 0.5, which is equal to 2.5. Right, because log base 4 of 4 all raised to the 2 is just equal to 2. Log base 4 of 2 is 0.5. Add those together, you get 2.5 as your final answer. All right, so any feedback you guys got, any questions on any of that process in the chat, go ahead. Okay, cool. So I'm assuming, Sarah, like I said, I'm assuming you just got that 16, which that's why when you said that, I was like, oh, she's on the right track. I'm assuming you just got it up here. Ow. We gotta make sure that we keep going. Okay. Think I'm gonna move on then. I'm not getting anything else in the chat there. Jaden, can you start from the beginning and explain how you got the answers that you did? Okay. So again, start at the beginning. This is the question. I just rewrote the answer, so I'm looking for log base 4 of 32. I rewrote it as log base 4 of 16 times 2 because I know what log base 4 of 2 is, so I have to include a 2. I know I'm going to use the product rule, so I know I have to do some sort of multiplication. And then log base 4 of 16 because 16 times 2 gives me 32. Okay, so I get this equation. Now using the product rule that we just learned, this becomes log base 4 of 16 plus log base 4 of 2. So that's just a product rule, or product power property. Log base 4 of 2 was given to us at the beginning. So at the very beginning of the problem, I know what that is. So I just put that as a 0.5. All right, that was given to us. Log base 4 of 16, I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, you might know it, but I don't know it. So since I don't know it, I'm going to rewrite it as log base 4 of 4 squared. Right? Isn't 16 4 squared? So I know that this, if I have the base of the same base, so 4 of 4, that's going to be completely ignored. Okay, so what I can use then is this 2. The 2 is the only thing left over. That becomes the value out front. So that's because logs and exponentials are inverses of one another. And then just add 2 plus 0.5. All right, so go ahead, comment in the chat if you want more practice problems like those, or if you feel like you're good. So it looks like Aiden says more practice problems. I'm assuming that's what his comment meant. Another practice, yes. Okay. All right, let's do another practice then. Let me see what I want to do. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Let me write one down. Okay. 3 of 5 approximately 1.46. Okay, so guys, that's your problem. Log base 3 of 5 is approximately 1.465. I want you to find log base 3 of 25. So use that same problem, same process. I want you guys to see if you can solve that. Okay, couple different answers here. Sierra says I got what Aiden got. Okay. Take like 30 more seconds, let everyone else see if they can get there. $3.465. Okay. Let's take a look at this. So at least we came to a consensus of two different answers. Now let's see which one's right. Okay. So I'm looking for log base 3 of 25. So again, I want to rewrite it because I want to make it so it's in a form where I can use the product rule. And specifically, I want to use log base 3 of 5. Okay, the reason being is because, like I said, I have this value. This was given to me. I don't need, because remember, we don't have a calculator. So this is given to me. So I need to use this somehow. And then I got to figure out, okay, 5 times what am I going to get 25? Well, 5 times 5 gives me 25. Right? 5 times 5 is 25. This is really good news for us. Because now when I use my product rule, I get log base 3 of 5 plus log base 3 of 5. Right? So I'm using the product rule, I'm splitting it up. And I'm given what these values are. Because log base 3 of 5 is 1.465. So my answer ends up being 1.465 plus 1.465, which, like Chris said in the chat, is 2.93. Whoa, my bad. All right, so I'm curious. Go ahead and comment, guys. What went wrong? How did you get 3.465? What part messed you up with that? Don't be shy. When you get to where both logs have the 5, I thought to square them because there's two of the same equations. Thought to square them because the middle step where the log base 3 of 5 plus log base 3 of 5. Okay. When you get to where both logs have the 5, I thought to square them because there's two of the same. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. And that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, just be careful with, you're not squaring them, you're adding them together. So you separate it so it's log base 3 of 5 plus log base 3 of 5. And remember, we don't have a calculator, right? So we got to be careful with that. If you would have written it as log base 3, 25 equals log base 3 of 5 squared, that's not going to help us. Reason being is because the base wouldn't be the same. The log base wouldn't be the same as the base of the exponential. So you would have it'd be 3, 5 squared. Well, 3 and 5 don't match up. So we wouldn't be able to get that value. Which is why you split them up into 5 times 5. Okay, so that's going to end today. Guys, do you have an Alex homework? It's not due till Wednesday. So that Alex homework is going to be on, I don't know how many problems we did today are going to be on there, but tomorrow, the majority of what we do tomorrow's lesson is going to be on the Alex. So if you can start today, maybe you can get some, you can Google some stuff, maybe get some hints, whatever you got to do to maybe get as much as you can done. But if not, we're going to cover a ton tomorrow. That's going to help you with that assignment. All right. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll have my office hour from 1 to 2. So hop on in if you guys have any questions on anything. And thanks for participating today. See you, Jaden. Appreciate it. Thank you, Aiden. You too. All right, I'm going to sign off, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.